I just wanted to take a moment to reflect on the critical importance of tax relief and assistance available to cities and towns that have been hit by natural disasters. 9:45 p.m., May 4, 2007. An EF5 tornado, the highest level on the standard meteorological scale, and it was a different kind of tornado. It was a wedge tornado, not a funnel tornado. Plowed through the city of Greensburg, Kansas. It killed 12 people and destroyed and damaged more than 95% of the city's structures, most vehicles, and the electricity infrastructure. Most residents were displaced from their homes and businesses. All city and county services, including the schools, city hall, hospital, courthouse, were absolutely destroyed. Greensburg was literally wiped off the map. In the immediate aftermath, I called President Bush, who was at Camp David. I told him he needed to get FEMA out to Greensburg right away. He informed me that that request had to come from the governor. I told him the governor was at a jazz concert in Louisiana. He said, raise your right hand by phone, which I did, and said, please take the following oath as governor of Kansas for only 5 minutes, which I did. And he said, you've got FEMA coming. The response of the state, local, and federal governments was simply tremendous. We were quickly able to safeguard residents and secure property and begin the hard task of rebuilding. Soon after, I began working with my colleagues on the Finance Committee to secure tax relief that would enable Greensburg to rise from the dust and also to rebuild. The tax relief initiative we developed emulated the Gulf Opportunity Zone benefits provided to the Gulf Coast area after Hurricane Katrina, in many cases quite literally substituting the language in the GO Zone legislation. Among the measures in this package were changes to the casualty loss rules, incentives to hire and retain employees, depreciation changes to help offset rebuilding costs, and enhanced bonding authority to allow the local government to quickly restore its schools and its infrastructure. We were able to get tax relief enacted by the end of the year. Now, remember when this happened and the end of the year. That provides a time of uncertainty that I think we have to address in this legislation. These provisions were important to putting the town back on its feet, rebuilding homes and businesses, and helping residents cope with the extreme hardship of the total destruction of the town. I am proud to say we are building a new Greensburg. Using the tax relief we were able to provide, the town is modernizing and is considered a model for disaster response and also redevelopment. Excuse me, sir. 7 years later, Greensburg is the world's leading community in energy-efficient buildings, including the new City Hall and the new 48,500 square foot Kiowa County Memorial Hospital. Renewable energy powers the entire community, and the streets street lights are all LED. The population is growing and the town is back in business. Greensburg is proof that tax relief can help a town rebuild. We were fortunate in Kansas to be able to move quickly with a comprehensive aid package, including tax relief. Now, this was a full team effort, including my Kansas colleagues here in Washington and with the support of my Senate colleagues, more especially on this committee. Let me say that as I reflect on Greensburg's rebuilding, it is clear to me that we could have provided more immediate help that would have provided strong comfort and clear certainty that the federal government would be there to help Greensburg rebuild. This is why it is very important that we think about enacting a menu of permanent disaster relief that can be activated at a moment's notice when an area is hit with a disaster meeting the appropriate criteria. Having immediate access to relevant tax relief is absolutely vital to future disaster response. So as we discuss tax reform, I encourage the chairman and I encourage all senators present to keep in mind the experience of Greensburg and other disaster-stricken towns. There was an emergency relief area at Barclay College in a very small community called Haviland, Kansas, about 15 miles away. As I walked into that relief center, I noticed an elderly gentleman sitting on the edge of his bunk staring into space. He was quite elderly. He was wearing an overcoat. He was wearing the shoes of his neighbor. He didn't know what happened to his neighbor, and no socks, and his pajamas. I put my arm around him, and I identified myself as Senator Pat Roberts, and I said, we're going to be of help to you, sir. He says, no, I've lost my life. And he didn't lose his life, and we were able to provide help. He did eventually go to assisted living in Dodge City, Kansas, just down the road a piece, but I'll never forget him staring off into space, much like the story and the illustration by the chairman. It just seems to me that we could have provided a lot more predictability and hope for people to stay the course, as opposed to moving to other areas, and there were a lot of family experiences that way, and I hope that we can move on some legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Roberts, thank you very much.